Hello everyone, this is Mr. Brenton DeFlitch, WCPA's Literacy Director, here again with another poem to share with you guys. This time, we're going to read Robert Hayden's Those Winter Sundays. Now I think as always we can start by thinking about, while we're reading, maybe what might be the theme. What are those universal, timeless, abstract truths that the speaker and the poet are sharing with us through these words, through these images, through these sounds? And I think what we're going to find is, deep down, there is something in here about love. And so we'll be exploring that after we finish reading the poem. Those Winter Sundays by Robert Hayden. Sundays, too, my father got up early and put his clothes on in the blue-black cold. Then, with cracked hands that ached from labor in the weekday, weather made, banked fires blaze. No one ever thanked him. I'd wake and hear the cold splintering, breaking. When the rooms were warm, he'd call, and slowly I would rise and dress, fearing the chronic angers of that house, speaking indifferently to him, who had driven out the cold and polished my good shoes as well. What did I know? What did I know of love's austere and lonely offices? Okay, so let's jump into stanza 1 here. And something that's really important is this first word, which is also in the title. And so we really think about Sundays and what Sundays, should make us think about and what should come to mind. And really think about Sundays as supposed to being that kind of like religious kind of day off, right? It's the day of rest. But we see here that Sundays too, so all the other days of the week, and including Sunday, this father got up early. And so something I like to do at the end of poems is often think like, why? Why would a father get up early on Sundays? Why is that important to this poem? We know that he gets up early to put his clothes on, okay? But he does it in the blue-black cold. And what's interesting, some of my previous students have pointed out, it's not just cold, but it's blue-black cold. That's the type of cold that is painful, that makes you think of frostbite. And so this father is getting up early on what is supposed to be the day off. He puts on his clothes, goes into this painful cold. And not only is he going into this painful cold, but he's going into the point where he has cracked hands that are aching from all the work he is doing. So we know that he does tough labor that are hurting and cracking and aching his hands. And this is all happening in, look at the alliteration here, weekday weather, banked fires blaze. So it's cold, it's snowy, his bones and hands are hurting. But what is he doing? He's banking the fire, he's building the fire up. And so if you think about this, this is almost an image of love, right? A type of love. This father is getting up, going into what is a painful cold room, and is starting the fire for everyone else. So in a sense, he is showing that he cares about the speaker. Now, another thing in poetry I like to do is to look to where the changes are, right? Changes in tone, changes in theme, changes in what we can see here is sentence length. We have this entire stanza that runs on all the way here and then period. No one ever thanked him. And it's lines like this that carry a lot of meaning. That no one ever thanked Dad for how he cared for them. For even though that he was doing tough labor, even though that the cold was painful, even though it was his day off, he still got up early to make sure that the house was warm for everybody else. Now look in the second stanza. Our speaker finally comes in and says, I'd wake and hear the cold splintering and breaking. And we think about, what would the cold be splintering and breaking? What is that? When the rooms were warm, he'd call. So his dad wouldn't call until the rooms were warm. So we knew that, again, the father here is showing care for the speaker. He'd only call out once the rooms were warmed up. And slowly I would rise and dress, fearing the chronic angers of that house. So here we almost see a change as well, right? That the speaker has a fear of the anger of the house. And what's interesting is, in this poem, Robert Hayden does not associate his fear of chronic anger, that long-lasting anger, to his dad or to another person in the house. He attributes it to the house, and not the home, but the house. So it's only as if the building itself is angry. Continuing on, speaking indifferently to him. So here our speaker is showing that he doesn't care in the way he talks. To him, comma, who had driven out the cold. Again, showing that aspect that he cares. And polished my good shoes as well. So not only is this dad getting up and making sure that the house is warm for everybody else before they wake up, but he's also making sure that his good shoes are ready. And most likely, what is his good shoes ready for? Why would he need to do that on Sunday? Probably because of church services. But these last lines really carry a lot. What did I know? What did I know of love's austere and lonely offices? And this shows almost a sense of reflection from the speaker. It's almost as if they're looking back on their life and saying, man, back then I did not understand love. I didn't understand what this was like for my father. Now, one could maybe make an inference that, looking through this, that there is no mention of a mother or sibling, so perhaps it is just the two of them. And now in reflection, the speaker, having grown up or gone through some years, is looking back and saying, wow, I don't think I understood what it was like to be my father back then. And this resonates, I think, with a lot of people, as we often say that as you get older, you get wiser, that you start to realize the experiences of those around you. But I think deep down, even with that, our central theme here is still love and a deeper understanding of love. So I'd say with that subject of love, what could we bring out as a possible timeless, abstract theme? Well, we see a child and a father here. So it could be something like children often struggle to understand a parent's love. Since it's from the speaker's position, and that's the child reflecting, that we often don't realize it. And maybe we can even add, until they grow up. Now, there's several other themes we could take away from this and several other notices we could, but this is just one that I was hoping to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you soon with another poem.